The rain came down like it had something to prove. Not the gentle kind that whispers against rooftops, but the kind that slaps the earth, floods the streets, and makes you question every decision that brought you outside. Cars crawled along the road, headlights blurred into streaks of gold through the heavy downpour. Ethan Cole tightened his grip on the steering wheel, squinting through the windshield as his wipers struggled to keep up. It had been a long day, double shift at the garage, a missed lunch, and a call from his daughter's school reminding him, yet again, that Lily had been quiet all week. Quiet, that word used to mean peaceful. Now it felt like a warning. In the back seat, Lily sat silently, her small frame curled toward the window. At just 7 years old, she had already mastered the art of holding things in. Since her mother passed 2 years ago, her laughter had become rare, like sunshine in winter. "We'll be home soon," Ethan said, glancing at her through the rearview mirror. She nodded, but didn't speak. The silence in the car wasn't empty. It was heavy, full of things neither of them knew how to say. As they approached a dimly lit stretch of road just outside town, Ethan noticed something through the blur of rain, a figure on the side of the road. At first, he thought it was just a shadow. But then lightning split the sky, and for a brief second, everything became clear. A woman, standing alone, soaked, not waving for help, not moving, just standing there. Ethan's foot eased off the gas. "Dad," Lily's small voice broke through. "Why are we slowing down?" He didn't answer right away. His mind was already arguing with itself. "It's not safe. You have your daughter in the car. Keep driving." But then another thought rose, louder. What if that was Lily someday? What if no one stopped? He exhaled slowly and pulled over. The tires splashed into a shallow puddle as the car came to a halt. "Stay here," he told Lily gently. "Lock the door. I'll be right back." She nodded, her eyes wide now, not scared, just watching. Ethan stepped out into the storm, instantly drenched. The cold rain hit his skin like needles as he approached the woman. Up close, she looked even more fragile than he expected. Early 30s, maybe, dark hair plastered to her face. Her clothes were clean but completely soaked, clinging to her like a second skin. And her eyes looked lost. "Hey," Ethan called over the rain. "Are you okay?" She blinked, as if she hadn't expected anyone to stop. "My car," she said, her voice barely audible. "It broke down, a mile back. My phone's dead." Ethan glanced down the road, but the storm had swallowed everything. "You can't stay out here," he said. "You'll get sick. Come on, I'll give you a ride." She hesitated. It wasn't fear, it was something else. Pride, maybe, or exhaustion. "I don't want to be a burden," she said quietly. Ethan gave a small, tired smile. "You're not. Trust me, I've had worse days than giving someone a ride." After a moment, she nodded. They hurried back to the car. Ethan opened the back door for her, but Lily quickly scooted over. "She can sit next to me," Lily said softly. The woman looked surprised. Then she smiled, faint, but real. "Thank you," she said as she got in. The warmth of the car wrapped around them like a blanket. Ethan turned the heater up. "I'm Ethan," he said, pulling back onto the road. "Sarah," she replied. "And this is Lily." Lily gave a small wave. For a while, there was only the sound of rain against the roof. Then Sarah spoke. "You didn't have to stop," she said. "I know," Ethan replied. "But I'm glad I did." There was something about the way he said it, simple, honest, that made Sarah look at him more closely. "You've got a good heart," she said. Ethan chuckled softly. "Or bad judgment." That earned a small laugh, from both Sarah and, surprisingly, Lily. It was the first time Ethan had heard that sound from his daughter in days. He glanced at her in the mirror. She was smiling, just a little, but it was enough to make his chest tighten. "Where are you headed?" Ethan asked. Sarah hesitated again. "Honestly, I'm not sure." That caught his attention. "What do you mean?" She looked down at her hands. "I left my job this morning. Packed what I could. I was supposed to go stay with a friend in the city, but," she gave a small, bitter laugh. "Life had other plans, I guess." Ethan didn't press. He knew that tone, the kind that meant there was more to the story, but not ready to be told. "Well," he said, "we're heading into town. There's a motel near the highway. Not fancy, but it's dry." Sarah nodded. "That sounds perfect." Lily leaned forward slightly. "Do you like stories?" she asked suddenly. Sarah blinked. "Stories? Yeah," Lily said. "My mom used to tell me stories every night." Ethan's grip tightened on the wheel, but he didn't interrupt. "I love stories," Sarah said gently. "Then, can you tell one?" Lily asked. Ethan glanced back, surprised. Lily hadn't asked anyone that in a long time. Sarah smiled softly. Okay, but only if you help me. Lily's eyes lit up, and just like that, something shifted in the car. As Sarah began weaving a simple story about a brave little bird who was afraid to fly after losing its way, Lily listened, really listened. She even added little ideas, her voice growing stronger with each sentence. Ethan didn't say anything, he just drove, and listened. By the time they reached town, the rain had started to ease. The motel sign flickered in the distance. Ethan pulled into the parking lot and turned off the engine. We're here, he said. But Lily didn't move. Can she stay with us tonight? She asked. The question hung in the air. Ethan blinked. Lily, please, she whispered. Just for one night. He looked at Sarah, unsure. You don't have to. It's okay, Sarah said quickly. Really, the motel is fine, but Lily's eyes were fixed on him now. Not pleading, hoping, and Ethan realized something. This wasn't just about helping a stranger. This was about Lily, about that small spark he'd just seen in her coming back to life. He exhaled slowly. One night, he said. Lily beamed. Sarah looked stunned. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Ethan replied with a small smile. That night changed everything. It started small. Dinner was simple, leftover pasta reheated and shared at the kitchen table. Sarah insisted on helping, moving around the kitchen with a quiet confidence that made the house feel different. Warmer. Lily talked more that night than she had in weeks. About school, about her favorite book, about the way the rain sounded like 1,000 tiny drums. Sarah listened to every word like it mattered. And maybe that's what made the difference. Later, when it was time for bed, Lily tugged on Sarah's sleeve. Can you finish the story? She asked. Ethan watched from the doorway as Sarah sat beside Lily, her voice soft and steady as she told the ending. The little bird didn't stop being afraid. It just learned to fly anyway. When Lily finally fell asleep, Ethan and Sarah sat in the living room in comfortable silence. You didn't have to do all this, Sarah said after a while. Neither did you, Ethan replied. She smiled faintly. I used to be a teacher. That explains it. I loved it, she continued. But life got complicated. I had to leave. Ethan didn't ask for details. He just nodded. You're good with her, he said. Sarah looked toward Lily's room. She's special. She is, Ethan said softly. She just hasn't been the same since her mom passed. Sarah's expression softened. Grief doesn't go away. It just changes shape. Ethan looked at her. Sounds like you know that firsthand. She met his gaze. I do. In the days that followed, one night turned into a week. Then two. Sarah found a temporary job at a nearby school, filling in for a teacher on leave. She insisted on paying her share, but Ethan refused at first, until she argued him into accepting something, even if it was small. The house changed. It wasn't just cleaner or more organized. It felt alive again. Lily laughed more, talked more, even started drawing again, pictures of birds, of rain, of three people standing under one umbrella. Ethan noticed everything, but more than that, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. One evening, as they sat watching Lily color at the table, Sarah turned to him. You didn't just help me that night, she said. You gave me a second chance. Ethan shook his head. You gave that to yourself. Maybe, she said, but you opened the door. He smiled slightly. Funny. Feels like you did the same for us. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Lily looked up. Can you stay forever? She asked. The question was simple, but the answer wasn't. Sarah looked at Ethan. Ethan looked at Lily. And in that moment, he realized something powerful. Stopping in the rain hadn't just changed someone else's life. It had changed theirs. Let's take it one day at a time, he said gently. Lily nodded, satisfied. Sarah smiled. And outside, the rain began again. But this time, it didn't feel cold or heavy. It felt like a beginning. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness, pulling over in the middle of a storm, can lead you exactly where you were meant to go. And sometimes, the people you stop to help, end up saving you right back.